Scanning the future.
Hey, welcome to Future Files. I'm Andy MacNeil. He's Nick Martin. And on today's episode, we are breaking down the Western Conference Wildcard race from a betting perspective. Some big games tonight on Wednesday in the NHL's Western Conference. The Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks going head to head. Just 1 point separate these two teams in the standings. So I think this is a good place to start, Nick, as there's a lot at stake in this one. The Flames, a big favorite tonight, as this is the second half of a back-to-back for the Vancouver Canucks, who have the toughest remaining schedule based on regular season points over at Bet365. Playoff odds for these two teams: the Flames plus 170, the Canucks plus 145. So odds makers still think the Vancouver Canucks have a better shot here, but there's a reason to suspect otherwise, right?
Yeah, I think the Canucks have been an overvalued team all season long. We've really been beating this drum. I think they've held up too much value because of what they did last season. If you look at the last 41 games played, so half an NHL season, the Canucks are 16, 17, and 8 and have scored only 2.37 goals for per game. So their play has fallen off quite badly. I'm not entirely sold they're going to turn it around here. And like you said, they've got the toughest remaining schedule. So I think that's kind of the most important part of this whole breakdown is that the Canucks look to be their chances of making the playoffs look to be a little overvalued.
Yeah, the Flames have relatively tough remaining schedule as well, but certainly not as tough as the Vancouver Canucks, and they're in a good position to get 2 points on Wednesday with Dustin Wolf in goal. As we talked about on Wednesday's episode of the Puck Portfolio, Wolf still a Calder candidate based on his play. He has dragged the Calgary Flames into this playoff race. But I think there is a lot of interest here with some of the other teams as well. The St. Louis Blues, they actually have the easiest remaining schedule, and we talked about the Blues' chances of making the playoffs a few weeks back now on the Puck Portfolio. St. Louis still plus 425 to make the playoffs. They are 2 points ahead of the Utah Hockey Club right now. And like I said, a pretty easy remaining schedule. We kind of broke it down before recording this show, and not too many tough matchups for the St. Louis Blues. So I'm guessing, you're still all right with that position on the St. Louis Blues to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't mind having that position at all. I don't disagree with anyone who wants to add on the Blues making today. My kind of overarching thought here is that the Flames and the Canucks are the worst of the two teams. They've got tougher schedules, so I think it's more likely their small lead could evaporate than odds makers are expecting. Over the last 10 games, the Flames hold a 42.96 expected goals share. They've been about as anemic offensively as the Canucks. They're actually last in the league in goals scored per game. So Wolf has been incredible. He's been stealing games for them, but I don't know if it's going to be the most sustainable recipe. And I think the Blues and Utah are both playing better hockey than the Flames and Canucks right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard to disagree there. The Utah Hockey Club actually has a game in hand on St. Louis, so that could work in their favor. These two teams are going to match up on the one of the final days of the regular season, so that could be a big matchup in terms of playoff chances. But we're still a ways out from that, and this is a really good opportunity here over these next three games for Utah to pile up some points and get back in a wild card spot. Hopefully, they are currently sitting with the same odds to make the playoffs as the St. Louis Blues at plus 425 at Sports Interaction. And they have the 10th easiest remaining schedule based on regular season points right now. Sitting in the top 10 in terms of expected goals percentage at 5-on-5, up there in shot attempt percentage as well. So they have been maybe the best of the four teams that we're talking about today, and a big favorite tonight versus the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, I think they've been the best, and they've spent the most time without some key pieces in the lineups. With Sean Dursey, Jean Reno both missed a ton of time. They're back now. Logan Cooley's missed time. Dylan Gunther's missed time. But with all these guys back in the lineup, the underlying results show, and just I think watching the talent on the team that they are the best of these four teams. So I think that obviously works in their favor a lot. They've got to close some ground here, but I think that's well accounted for by the price. And I think one other thing to like about Utah's schedule, they do host the Flames. I think it's April 1st. That'll be a big matchup for them. I think they'll end up being a pretty huge favorite there. So that could really help them gain some ground as well. So I think there's a lot to like about Utah. They look like they're playing the best hockey of any of the four in the mix, and I think we're going to see that continue. I like what this team's got going on. So yeah, I think it's a great time to take advantage of that window. Hopefully, they collect all 6 points from the next 3 games, and then they'll be right there after that.
Yeah, buy now on the Utah Hockey Club to make the playoffs at plus 425. They've got 64 games played, 67 points in the standings. The St. Louis Blues, 65 games played, 69 points in the standing. And the Canucks also have 69 points. They've got a game in hand on the Blues as well. The Flames, they've actually got the fewest games played so far, 63, 64 after Wednesday. They've got 70 points in the standings. So it is a tight race, but that has created some betting value on both the St. Louis Blues and the Utah Hockey Club. But that's it for today's episode of Future Files. We'll be back every Wednesday discussing a different futures market in the NHL. So see you next week.